David and Bathsheba, a king's failure and a God who confronts, when desire turns to sin and grace meets justice. David was Israel's great king, the shepherd boy who defeated Goliath, the warrior who united the tribes, the man after God's own heart. He had known triumph and tasted the sweetness of God's favor. But even the greatest of leaders are not immune to temptation. The story of David and Bathsheba begins not on a battlefield but on a rooftop. It reveals not only the devastating power of sin but also the restoring mercy of God. The fall begins. It was springtime, the season when kings went off to war. Yet David remained in Jerusalem while his army marched under Joab's command. One evening, as he walked on the roof of his palace, David's eyes fell upon a woman bathing. She was Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, one of David's own soldiers. Instead of turning away, David inquired about her and, despite learning she was married, sent messengers to bring her to the palace. That night, the king took what was not his. Bathsheba later sent word, "I am pregnant." The web of deceit. Fearful of discovery, David plotted to conceal his sin. He summoned Uriah back from the battlefield, urging him to go home to his wife. But Uriah, loyal to his comrades still fighting, refused to enjoy the comforts of home while others suffered in war. Frustrated, David escalated his scheme. He sent Uriah back to Joab with sealed instructions, orders for Uriah to be placed in the fiercest fighting and abandoned so that he would be struck down. The plan succeeded. Uriah was killed, and David took Bathsheba as his wife. To the watching world, the scandal seemed hidden. But nothing is hidden from God. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord. 2 Samuel 11:27, a prophet confronts a king. God sent the prophet Nathan to confront David, yet Nathan did not begin with direct accusation. Instead, he told a parable. A rich man, with many flocks, stole and slaughtered the one beloved lamb of a poor man to feed a guest. David's anger burned. "The man who did this deserves to die," he declared. Then Nathan's words cut through the air like a sword. "You are the man." 2 Samuel 12:7. David's hidden sin was exposed. Nathan declared God's judgment. Violence would never depart from David's house, and the child born from this union would die. Repentance and consequences. Unlike Saul before him, David did not justify or deflect blame. He confessed simply, "I have sinned against the Lord." 2 Samuel 12:13. Psalm 51, traditionally attributed to this moment, captures the depth of his repentance, a broken heart crying for mercy, cleansing, and renewal. God forgave David, sparing his life. Yet the consequences remained. The child died, and turmoil would haunt David's family for generations. Sin leaves scars, even when mercy is granted. Themes in David's story. 1. Sin. David's fall began with idleness, grew through unchecked desire, and spiraled into deception and murder. His story warns of how small compromises can lead to devastating ruin. 2. Repentance. David's greatness lay not in perfection, but in his response to failure. When confronted, he humbled himself, confessed, and turned back to God. True repentance opens the door to restoration. 3. God's justice and mercy. God did not ignore David's sin. His justice required consequences, yet his mercy granted forgiveness and continued purpose. Out of this brokenness would still come redemption, for Bathsheba later bore Solomon, through whom God's promises endured. Conclusion. A warning and a hope. The story of David and Bathsheba is sobering. It reminds us that no one is beyond temptation, that sin carries weighty consequences, and that the cost of concealment is high. But it also offers hope that even when we fall, God does not abandon us. The God who judged David also restored him. And through David's line came the ultimate Redeemer, Jesus Christ, the one who bore the full weight of sin so that mercy could triumph over judgment. In this tension of justice and grace, David's story speaks across the ages. Sin destroys, but repentance brings restoration, and God's purposes prevail.